Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here in beautiful Bali, in Canggu, not far from Echo Beach on the west side of Bali, with delicious Elijah that I haven't seen since Kauai many years ago, where we did this beautiful interview where our soul connected. You're such an amazing being. I saw you on stage at the Bali Spirit Festival. How was that for an experience next to Nako and all those beautiful performers, huh? Wow, you have expanded so beautifully. It's so amazing to see and witness.
Thank you, Lilou. It's so good to see you and good to be with you here in this incredible land. This is magic, what's happening here. And it was an honor to co-create at the Bali Spirit Festival this year with Nako and my brothers and sisters in music. And we all banded together and brought the light and brought the love to the people. And also I'm feeling the people here in Bali are so embracing the music and the vibration that we're bringing in. It's amazing to be received here.
Yeah. I think your music is so innovative, and I've seen how it evolved throughout the years, and how you tell us what you call the band of light, and this whole concept and how it evolved actually to be at this place here and now, because we're ready for it now, it seems.
I say yes to that. We are ready. Are you guys ready? We're ready.
We're ready.
Well, the Band of Light is really an experience, yeah? So I knew from the time I was like 5 years old, I was having dreams about being on these stages and events and far into the future, where it was almost like the feeling of everybody in the space was a part of what was happening. It was a spirit of co-creation. And I've been to, like you, probably hundreds of concerts, and I go to see all kinds of artists and musicians that are amazing. But oftentimes there's this feeling of we are the audience and we're separate, and what's up there is very separate. Yeah. They are on stage and we're the audience. We're not connected. Yeah. But for me, I knew that I wanted to change that. I knew that I wanted to create an experience where everybody in the space was a part of a band, a part of this co-creative energy, and that everybody got to feel like they were a part of something, so they could go home and say, wow, I'm in the Band of Light too. Yeah.
In which way? In a frequency way? In a vibrance? I mean, how resonance? How are we actually contributing?
On every level. I mean, the first level is, of course, through the presence that we all share through, and you could say a frequency. But also I wanted to make that tangible, to make that real, to have everybody have a role that they could play, whether that be through their dancing bodies or singing or the spirit of co-creation. So however that looks for each person might be different, but the energy is the same, that we're all in this together.
I guess when you're on stage, it's like when we give a speech too, it all changes depending on the audience. So there's whatever, you're going to perform differently, your sound are going to, because you record each piece of the sound. Like, tell us how it actually builds up for you.
Well, lately, as you're referring to, I've been doing a bit of a one-man band kind of a show. So I have these loop pedals, which allow me as one person to layer my voice and my guitar and other instruments so that I can stack one at a time, and then pretty soon it sounds like a whole band, yeah? So this allows me to create something live in the moment that is, I think, unique. It's a unique sound, because I love to do that, but I also love sometimes to put the band together and have other people that I'm playing with. But with the looping style, it's interesting because I can create these songs that maybe I've played this song before, but it's always new. It's always different. Yeah. And it's kind of like, almost like jazz in a way, where there's a lot of improvisation. So you're writing right on the edge of that co-creative energy, and it keeps it fresh every time.
I love when you bring Archangel Michael, or even Michael Jackson spirits. Do you call them? How does that work?
Oh, it's really, I like to play, I like to play with words and bringing people's, getting rid of the mind. Yeah, so inviting people to play, and so that looks different ways in different times. And the other night I said, let's call in Archangel Michael Jackson, because I had a Michael Jackson tune I was playing. And but really, to be quite honest, like all of the spirits that don't have bodies, they like to come and play in the Band of Light too. So if we create a space for them and invite them, they'll come and play. Yeah.
How do you view what's going on in the world and the role of such music like that now in our awakening? And
like what kind of music?
it's hard to put labels these days, you know, but the music you play and this kind of conscious, uplifting, open-hearted music, like how do you, what is really its role, or how do you see that? Or do you actually play day by day and you allow, you know, spirit to guide you, or is there a real sense of something quite specific in your mind since you're little?
Yeah, good question. It is very much both, I think. It is a day to day about listening. I've really had an organic process of the way I've followed my path of music and in the music career that I feel I'm not following any rules. Yeah?
That's good. We're rule breakers.
Yeah.
Freedom.
That's it. So, but that being said, you know, when you see something that's and you get to a certain place and something's working and it feels really good, let's just do more of that, you know? Yeah. And if something's not working, try something else. Yeah. So I'm grateful because I had an opportunity over 13 years ago now, 12, 13 years ago, to sign a record contract, and I didn't do it because part of me, that's when I was actually called to Hawaii. So there's these choices that we can make in our lifetime where we are following what's true, following our heart or following our spirit. But when we get to a certain point, if it doesn't feel right, I just don't do it. Yeah. So at that time, what felt more right was to follow my heart to Hawaii. And then that unfolded, and that, you know, I was in the Indigo film and all sorts of things unfolded from that. And I met you and I met all these amazing people. So now I'm here in Bali and sharing my music, and it's very organic how it's unfolding, but there's a lot of help too, and a lot of amazing co-creators who are helping to make it possible.
Yeah, I love how you say, even if it's at the last minute, that if it doesn't resonate within your heart, just say no. And it's okay. Like, it's hard sometimes to communicate that. How do you do it? Because we all have choices to make, and sometimes it's right at the last minute, or I'm supposed to interview somebody and then I don't feel it anymore, and that person has traveled hours or maybe took a flight. Right. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a work in progress, isn't it? It's a work in progress to stay true to ourselves. Yeah. And to each other, yes. Because we, you know, sometimes as sensitive beings, we feel what other people are feeling. Yeah. And for me, I've oftentimes will try to make that person comfortable. Yeah. And yet I'm still a baby at it, but I'm learning how to really honor myself and take really good care of myself so that I can actually show up and contribute something that is of value to everybody else. Because oftentimes if we're serving everybody else and showing up, even if we, you know, it doesn't feel right, and we're kind of like 1 degree off of our true north, that 1 degree over time is going to be very far off. So I really support us all to just be true to ourselves and trust that is going to be the best for everyone too. Yeah. I
feel places like Bali, if you step a little bit on the side, then wow, there's something that happens that reminds you really quickly that, you know, you need to be realigned and be vulnerable again. How do you feel about that vulnerability, authenticity, showing up as you are as a man too these days?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's the only game to play is authenticity. And again, it's a work in progress, isn't it? Because every moment we're getting new information, and we're also, the presence that we are is so much bigger than our body or our choices or our thoughts, our belief systems. These are very small. We have this massive presence that we are too, and that's always informing us and informing our steps and informing each choice that we make. And we can kind of tap into the presence and know if we're on track or not. And so it's a, you know, kind of a moment-to-moment checking in to make sure we're on track. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to stay on track, but we do have to listen and be sensitive and open enough to listen to that guidance. The other thing I wanted to say about conscious music, because I know you asked a question a little while ago about the role that conscious music plays today. You know, I love all kinds of music. You know, I feel like something that's important for me is getting rid of labels, you know, and really paying more attention and putting value on the experience, the feeling we have in the experience, and these qualities of the experience, rather than, is something conscious or not conscious? Is something this kind of music or that kind of music? Is it light or it's like it's more about
the guru or it's not.
Yeah, it's more about the quality of the experience that we're having. So to me, if the quality of the experience, no matter what kind of music it is, brings you to a place that makes you feel more connected, more alive, more purposeful in what you're here to do and be and experience, then that's it for you. You know, stay on that track. For me, I noticed that a lot of people are really hungry for something, for music, art, experiences that have more substance, more authenticity, more embodied, qualities of soul to them. And because a lot of music of today, I can't quite feel the soul in it. Maybe it was, made on a computer or made because that person's just trying to get the next hit out there, but not really putting their soul into it. And so to me, I feel people can tell the difference, what's soulful and what's not. And so to me, all of it's good, but I think that the world needs a lot more soul. So that's what I'm trying to bring.
Yeah, and as a man in the world, because I asked 2 questions, I often ask a few questions in one, but how is, that's where you can choose, you choose the answer. But as a man, how does it feel? I mean, this relationship man-woman, we want man with soul too. And in your presence like that, we feel your soul, feel nurtured, and there is this balance that is created between man and woman. How do you feel that? How has that evolved?
Well, it's right now, talking to you in this moment, I can feel how important it is for us to have more and more examples of embodied men and embodied women who are learning how to co-create in ways that are balanced and true and connected and honest. And I think we're all doing our best to do that. But growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of role models for that. And I think a lot of young men don't necessarily have like great examples of what does a balanced man look like. We get shown in the media or perhaps in modern day culture these very extreme models of masculinity that don't always feel balanced, to me, in honoring of the wholeness of who we are as masculine, feminine beings. So to me, I think the most important thing is just, again, to stay really tapped into what makes us feel alive and true and embodied. And what that looks like for me is a little bit different every day. I notice sometimes especially in the conscious movement, there can be almost like where the masculine's almost like so soft that it's lost the man. It's lost the sense of, a strong man standing there, because the men are honoring the goddess, which is good, but don't lose the masculine that is supposed to stand next to the goddess to empower and create a space for her to shine. So I think we're all finding that balance as we evolve and as we come in to our bodies more, as we come into opening our wings, opening our hearts, and like coming out of these boxes and labels about what we think being, spiritual means, or being a man or a woman. It's like, just be yourself, And if we can move from that place of authenticity, I think we'll be shown what that means, and it might change over time.
How does relationship look to you? I'm sure a lot of women see this video. They look at you at concert. They think you're gorgeous. How do you deal with? I think you're gorgeous. I already told you this at the last interview. How do you deal with that? The relationship to women, or being a man, or are you wanting to be in a relationship? Are you in a relationship? How does that work? How do you see that?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a lot of questions. That's like 5 questions in one. So
that's a good one.
I'll take the first part. I love. I think that when two people see each other and they recognize something that's true, whatever we call that, I really appreciate all the ways that I can open my heart more to just receive something that is pure, and it's just love. So I think a lot of people, maybe if we see someone or we're attracted to them, or we oftentimes put a projection of what we think that means, but ultimately we're just feeling love. We're just connecting to something that we see in that person that reminds us of who we are. And that's my favorite place to be, in that. And I think that creating relationships, for me, I've had the pleasure of being in a couple of very beautiful partnerships in this lifetime. And each one has taught me how to better love myself and take such good care of myself so that I can actually show up for another person. Yeah. And I think partnership and relationship is probably the greatest teacher of this lifetime, you know, because it's easy to go be in the mountains and meditate and pray. It's a lot harder to show up day to day with someone and being in a relationship. And because you have to face your stuff, you know, you have to ultimately see the mirror of everything that you're ready to look at and everything that you're not ready to look at. And so I think, you know, relationship is probably one of the greatest paths of growth in our lifetime.
Yeah. And it's probably being redefined too, as in this new earth, new paradigm, a relationship might not look like what they used to and might need to adapt as we're all moving and traveling a lot, it seems like, and changing places. You live in Hawaii now?
Yeah, Hawaii's been my home for 12 years. Yes. And but for 2 years, I've actually been on the road, you know, touring. So I've been home 1 month in this last year, which is not a lot. No. But I'm getting to embrace all these amazing places as my home, like Bali. Coming here, even though I'm here for 2 weeks, it feels like home. There's all this family. Here you are. Here's all these amazing people. And it's literally like we are creating a global village of all of these hubs of consciousness so that no matter where we go, we can always tap in and say, hey, family, I'm home. I'm here. But, you know, to answer your question, Hawaii is my home. I also am part-time based in Los Angeles, part-time in Ibiza, Spain. And so there's many hubs of home that I'm cultivating. Almost like I feel many communities that I'm being of service to, like gardens in a way. Like I want to go there and make sure I keep watering that garden. And there's right now, Los Angeles, Hawaii, New Zealand, Byron Bay, Australia, Sedona, Arizona. All of these places are home to me. Yeah. So I'm learning how to stay in balance while honoring all of these homes. Yeah.
Tell us about this tour of 2 years tour you just did. What have you learned from it? How did it all? What did it change for you in your personal or in work?
Well, the band is expanding, really big time. I mean, you know, as an artist, it's important to make sure we get out to connect to the communities that we're serving and that we're wanting to connect to. And I find that today in the digital age, we can, you know, like you are, connects to so many people through YouTube, through social media. And this is important. And it's also, for me, been important to make sure I expand and widen my circles, widen the bandwidth of the communities that I'm connecting to and the audiences I'm playing for. And so this last couple of years, it was really just something that I knew I had to do. I felt it was time. I put my things into storage on Hawaii, and I trusted that I needed to go on tour, kind of an open-ended tour. Yeah. So, you know, usually in the last 10 years, I will have, you know, I have my home, I'm rooted, I have all my stuff set up, I've got my studio, and then I go out on tour of maybe 2 months, and then I come back. And I go out for a little bit, and I come back. But this time, it was just really clear. It's just time to go. It's time to ride the wave and trust where that wave goes. So that's carried me for 2 years now, and I'm really grateful because I've met not only so many incredible people who are on the same mission as me in the Band of Light, and also with some of the community projects that I'm a part of, serving in growing and blooming community around the world. But I've gotten to learn so much about myself too. Like what happens when we don't have all of our comfort zone, you know, like the things that we think, oh, I need this, like I need my home, I need my thing, you know, my things all in one spot. But actually, when we don't have that, we have to almost like call on a deeper part of ourselves to stay connected and stay in balance. And it's easier said than done, but you know, I'm learning.
What a great way to let go too. It reminds me of my year tour in 2011, where I did the Juicy Living tour, and I met you. You know, the 2 suitcase, and you can't really have more than that. So you need to constantly let go and give and receive and get nurtured and find your balance wherever you are and find your home. It's such an amazing. I think a lot of people are called to do that right now. No. Yeah. Yes.
Well, the world is changing very quickly. You know, and I think the ecosystem of our global culture is really moving very fast. And so, it can be scary to take that leap into the unknown. And yet, like you said, I think a lot of people are, and I think there's a reason for that. I don't see this being like my whole life, but for right now, it's true. And for other people, it might be true to ground and to have your land and your community, like do that. Whatever is true for you, just do it, and we're all playing our part to make it happen.
Last little word of wisdom or of joy or of love that you want to share with any of those beautiful co-creators watching. I look forward. First, I must say, I look forward to having you in Paris. So for all of you in Paris, I'm bringing this guy to Paris. You should, yes, because this is time.
I see. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. What was my question? I forgot. Yeah. Do you have a last word of wisdom? Something.
Yeah. There's a few things I'd love to share.
Yeah. Are you tuning in right now to Archangel something?
No, I'm just tuning into my presence. I think one of the things I like to share actually is about that it's so easy to go right into a story about something. And I feel more than anything what's needed at this time is to create as much space as possible for presence, for connection. And there's not really a label for that or a story for that. It's something that we can't quite define. But that presence that we feel, you and I, right now, as we look into each other's eyes, is something that connects us, and something we can go anywhere on the planet and we can always connect to that, because it's that thing that exists when we're done talking. It's the thing that exists when there's no more stories left, and that's what I'm in service to the most. We all have these bodies, and we all are a part of many different communities and many different paths and traditions and a lot of different styles of spirituality, religions, and just like with music, you might say, oh, I love house music, or I love rock music, or I love jazz, and that's good. But for me, I just love music. Yeah. I love music, all of it, because it's all coming from one place. And what style we choose to kind of form and filter the great music into house or into jazz or into rock or into blues or into world or into something brand new, that's up to us. But to me, I'm just here to serve music. And the same is true of people, and the same is true of what we would call our spiritual path. There's no right or wrong way. To me, it's just, if we're tapped into the presence and creating experiences for ourselves and other people that allow us to connect to that presence, that's what I'm of service to the most. And I support us all to let go of the stories, to honor our story, to honor our path, but to also realize that there's many paths in one mountain, and we're all on the same mountain. So yeah, let's have fun with it. Yes,
I say yes to that. Thank you for this inspiring, beautiful, loving, nurturing conversation. Thank you, Elijah. Look forward to seeing you maybe in Ibiza next time or ever. I feel like each time we'll meet in different places around the globe. So I love that. Thank you, brother. Love you.
Love you too.
Oh. And big kiss to all of you guys too. We're sending you so much love from beautiful Bali. Let's relax. Let's take this moment, even after this video, let's just take a few minutes to enjoy this beautiful presence. And if you have enjoyed this video, please share the love. Much love from beautiful Bali. Aloha. Aloha.